everybody. This is Amy with Hudson Valley Knits. Welcome. Today is Sunday, June 22nd, and I am sitting down by the river again. It's been a while. For everyone new, thank you for checking out my podcast, and if you've come back, thank you for coming back. I am Memers on Ravelry, and I am Memer66 on Instagram and Twitter. Today we are down by the Hudson River. I try and get outside and podcast outside as much as possible. And today we are actually right down the street from where I live at a little place called Steamboat Dock. And let me just show you how beautiful it is here. Hold on. See? Now, I would have put the river right behind me, but the light behind me was drowning me out. And it still is. And the sun's going to be going down, and that's going to make it even worse. So actually, let me try it no matter which way I go, it's going to drown me out a little bit. So I apologize for that. And the tide is coming in, so there's a lot of waves crashing, and I hope it doesn't interfere too much. But it's been 3 weeks since I podcasted, and I have a lot to talk about. So I'm just going to get right into it. I have some really cool things to show you. Let me just get out my notes here. Okay. Let's start with the works in progress. I had a pair of Patent Croy socks on the needles. And the first sock is coming along. This is my pocketbook knitting. It's Patent Croy. I'm knitting them on my signatures 2.25 needles. I like this yarn a lot. It's a workhorse yarn. It's not super soft, but it's very durable. I had knit a pair for my son with the Patent Croy, and they're working fine for him. So this is the colorway. I think it's called Blue Striped Rag. I've been seeing this all over the podcasting, and I've been dying to get my hands on a skein, and I actually found it down in Virginia when we were driving down to see my Uncle Kenny. I stopped at a Michael's and found a whole bunch of beautiful colors there, and I picked up enough for 2 pair of socks because my local Joann's and Michael's don't have all the colors I had wanted to try. I'm going to start very soon the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, and I actually made the forms for my feet. Now, being as these are top down or cuff down socks, it's not going to use those forms as much as you would think. So those are my pocketbook knitting vanilla socks, and I haven't started the Fish Lips Kiss Heel yet, but I will be. Next, on the needles, I have my Hiroshima Pisa. Hello.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Good, thanks. These are my Hiroshima Peace Socks by Donna Kunis. It comes in, it's a pattern in the Stories and Stitches 3. Also by Donna Kunis and Ava Coleman. Here's the book. I've read almost the whole thing. It's really good. I haven't finished it yet, but I will be reviewing it when I finish it. But this is the 3rd book I've gotten, and they're all great. So here's the Hiroshima Peace Sock. I finished the kanji section. So basically it's I got dogs sniffing around. It's a double knit pattern. So the outside is the charcoal gray, and this is Plucky Knitter feet, by the way. Here's the gray with the red words, kanji symbols. And then it's going to be a cuff that like folds over. And so what we'll be showing is the red background with the charcoal gray kanjis. And this is the kanji symbols for peace. This is my first double knitting project, and it's very slow. I've been working on this a while, and you know, it's like it takes twice as long because you're really knitting two socks. You're knitting an inside sock and an outside sock at the same time, so every round is twice as long. But I am enjoying. Basically, there were some dogs came over to visit. One of them actually kind of took a little nip at me. Didn't like break any skin, but the owner came over and grabbed her, and well, that's her barking now. But no harm done. But they weren't leashed, so I feel bad because now they're leashed and they can't run around. So back to the socks. So like I said, this is my first double knitting pattern ever. And this is what I keep finding myself doing, and I don't know if you can see it, but on this side, you see, like right there, I keep like getting the yarn that I'm carrying, I guess, is wrapping around the stitch on the inside. So that's just what I find myself doing, and when I find it, I fix it. But here I didn't find it in time, and I'm not taking out all those rows. But it's a learning experience. Hopefully the second sock will be a little better. But I like it. I like it a lot. And do check out if you have Stories and Stitches too, or if you don't, you should get it. But if you do, check out the Knit Along, because she has, well, let me show you. She has 3 pairs of socks amongst other patterns in the Stories and Stitches. And one of them is that Hiroshima Peace socks. There's also these flying fish knee-highs. There's a good picture of it. These are very long. You can't tell in this picture, but these socks do go up to the knees. I've seen them in person when I took her writing workshop. She had them in her workshop. Let's see if I can find another picture. But these are done with not entrelac. Yeah, oh, I'm showing the pattern. Dang it. Where's the sock? Sorry. Well, I think that's the best picture of the sock. But basically, it's intarsia. It's done with intarsia. So the fish pattern here is done with intarsia. And then the third pair of socks is Fair Isle. Or stranded knitting, excuse me. And here's a great picture of that. I've done stranded knitting socks before, so I'm doing the double knitting to try something new. So those are what I've been working on most. I also, here it is. I did start swatching. So if you've watched all of my shows, a couple of my very first shows, I was talking about a fisherman's sweater, an Aran knit sweater that I wanted to knit for my husband. And I did all the measurements, and I did a gauge. I did everything I thought I was supposed to do, and it really did not come out good. It didn't fit him at all. It was extremely tight around him. He did gain a little weight, but mostly it was me. I was way off. And that was a long time ago. I didn't rip out, so I have like this much. I think I brought it actually. Yes, I did. So this is the original Mark sweater. Yeah, me. Hold on. Here's the original Mark sweater. See? And it's too tight on him. So I did not rip it out. I'm going to finish this and make it for myself. That's the front. The back is the same. I'm going to split now for the armholes. And this will be for me. But this is not going to be for a while. Because first I have to finish my husband's sweater. So, I'm using a size 9 needle for his. These were on a size 8. And it's with Bainin by Virtual Yarns, which is Alice Starmore's yarn. Bainin. Here it is. It's a very thick worsted weight yarn. I would almost consider it a chunky weight. I'm not sure what she considers it. But let me show you. Oh, here's the label. Alice Starmore, Bainin. This color, well, it's called Shade 103. No color. Water skiers. Jet skiers. So here's the swatch for Mark. So I'm going to do, all up the center, I'm going to do this popcorn stitch. So it's going to have a big panel in the center with the popcorn stitch. I'm not going to use this braid. I'll probably use maybe a more intricate braid on either side. And then maybe some horseshoes after that. And then I also decided that I'm going to do it in pieces. I'm not going to do it in the round. Because my husband has a belly, a pretty big belly, I think it would fit him better if I measured the back to the center under the armpits, and then I measured the front and made the front and the back accordingly so that it will fit him nice and so that the center panel centers nicely. So this is, while I didn't put the actual sweater on the needles yet, I do have the swatch done. I will remeasure him, and I want to get that started. I'm going to start with the back. I'm not going to start with the sleeves. I'm going to start with the back, and I'm looking forward to having my husband wear a sweater made by me, because I have not ever made him a sweater. All right. So those are the works in progress. And for knitting, I do have something on the spindle, which I brought. So let me start by saying, if you're a podcaster like me, and you like to watch like crazy all the podcasts, a lot of people are really finding spinning with Punis a luxury. They're a tad bit more expensive than just buying braided fiber or a bat of fiber. And a lot of times, like Gourmet Stash, she makes them with luxury fibers. I've been watching people spin up these Punis or Puni style Rolags, and I have to say I've been dying to try them, but I'm like, oh, they're more expensive. How can I justify that? I have so much fiber already. I have to use that up first. And then I'd see somebody spinning with it, and I'm like, gosh, I want some so bad. So I broke down and I bought some Puni style Rolags. And honestly, I'm not sure what the big difference is between a Puni and a Rolag. I think it's the size. So I was definitely having some big time Puni envy, and I broke down and I bought some Punis, and I'm spinning them on my new spindle. Now, I have to tell you, I don't think I will ever spin with anything else on a spindle except for Punis or Rolags, because I have spun on my spindle before, and I should have bought what I was working on to show you, but it is no comparison. Hands down, it is so much easier to spin on a spindle with a Rolag or a Puni. Look how consistent and how beautiful this is coming out. It's easy. It's so much easier. If you are learning to spin on a spindle, buy some. They're a little more expensive, but not that much more. And I got mine on, well, I have the card here somewhere. And I'll be showing you, let me get it. I got mine from Naturally Knitty. It's an Etsy shop, and I will have the link in the show notes. And here is another package of them. I bought two 2-ounce packages, or a little over 2-ounce packages, and I'm going to apply them together. So definitely I quenched the Puni envy and went and splurged and bought some, and it's all I can do not to buy some more. Next on the list is some gourmet stash. So highly recommend. The colorway is Spring Sprang Sprung, and it's woolen spun. That's the other thing, is I couldn't woolen spin at all on a spindle because I kept getting the twist so far up I couldn't even draft it, or it was just a mess. And honestly, I was thinking I'm just not a spindle spinner, but now I am. And I think the other part of it too is this spindle. I showed this to you before. It's from Green Sleeve Spindles. I got it at the Webb's tent sale. It's called, the spindle is named Denzel Monique. It's spalted jamarand, which is a rare wood, and walnut shaft. And this particular spindle has been a dream to spin up. So I mean, I haven't had any problems with it, but I've just only spun the Punis on it, so I don't know. Hi, how you doing, Tom? I'm sorry, I sing people I know. So that is what I'm spinning. So, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's an old friend I went to high school with and his wife, and I know they're going to come over and say hello, so I might have to pause again. Okay? Because they're going to ask how my kids are doing, and I'm going to ask how their kids are doing, and they've got their jet ski. Alright. So let's go and do finished objects. I have the Toti Hati by Kate Davies, and complete with pom-poms. It's ready to go to my mother-in-law. This was a great kit to learn how to Fair Isle knit on. And yes, it's Fair Isle knitting because I use Shetland wool. I love the pom-poms. I wasn't going to do them, but I decided to do it because she'll love that. And I went to Joann's and I bought a clover pom-pom maker, the tiny, tiny ones. And I just love it. And I know she's going to love it. And I recommend the kit because it comes with the water bottle. So really not too long, great to learn. There's only 2 colors that you're working with throughout the whole thing, and it's just a great way to learn a new technique. So I highly recommend. Love her designs. I definitely want to make one of her Fair Isle sweaters because they're just gorgeous. And I have her Colors of Shetland, I think it's Colors of Shetland book that she put out, and there's just a bunch of beautiful sweaters in there that I want to make. So that is one. The other is, and I apologize, I've got a bunch of bags here. I'm not sure which one it's in. You know what? I think I might have left it at home, but I blocked my Guardian of Air shawl, and I wanted to show you. It's so beautiful. And my daughter and I went to Bear Mountain, which is also up here in the Hudson Valley, of course. And we did a photo shoot up there. Oh, here it is. We did a photo shoot, and I got some beautiful pictures. Okay, they're just waving, but they're putting their jet ski in the water. So there's a boat launch right here. Oh, there's someone waiting for him too. So, oh my gosh, so many dogs. Beautiful dogs. I love dogs. I've never gotten bit by one. I was really surprised that dog nipped me. So, anyway. Here is the shawl all blocked. I'm not going to get the whole thing in there. Ooh. But this will give you a good idea of what it looks like. And plus it's, actually, I should put it on because it's pretty cold here. I want to thank the people that volunteered to test knit. I was hoping to have the pattern ready to go to the tech editor already, and I haven't quite finished it. I have the schematic done, I have the charts done, I have everything written on pencil and paper, but I have to type it up and format the pattern. And I think I have enough test knitters. So this is knit with Lost City Knits Twin Canyon Fingering. It's 50-50 merino and silk, and it's really, really lovely fiber, and it's very reasonably priced. And the color is Silver Bells and Cerilio. It's gorgeous blue. So yeah, so hopefully this will be getting out 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, hold on. All right, I'm trying to say hi. Okay, I'm back. So this is this is what happens when you record your podcast in your own neighborhood. You know everybody. So sorry about that. I really did have to say hi because they're good friends. We have kids the same age. Our kids were on Little League teams together. My son and her daughter graduated together. Anyway, back to where I was. So I was finishing up, talking about finished objects in this Guardian of Air shawl. I guess a little bit of the story behind that, and I think I brought the cards with me. I also have the teacher cowl, which I know I showed you last week. But so this is probably the first thing I ever designed. I kind of like, what happened was I got some art yarn mohair splash. The original one was made with mohair splash, which is freaking decadent, but it's a bit pricey. Rightfully so, right? So I also, if you don't know, read tarot cards, and I got this tarot deck that was done by a beautiful woman, Joanna Colbert, and she is like one of my favorite artists. And I was going through the cards in the deck, and I was basically thinking, oh, what would I knit that person? Oh, if that person were real, what would I knit them? So here's the Guardian of Air. And this, in a typical tarot deck, this would be the Queen of Swords or the Queen of Air. And she calls it the Guardian of Air. That's her own naming convention. And this is the shawl that I designed for her. The mohair splash was grays, blues, grays, and silvers, and the sparkly I kind of saw as like an icy element. And it was just perfect. So this was inspired by that card, and I have permission to name it the same name. And I would wear it, and people would be like, "I want the pattern. I want to knit it." And so I finally got it. So it's almost done, and it's going to be out there, and this way people can knit it. So I also did another one. And this is more recent, based on the teacher. Here's the teacher cowl inspiration. This is usually the hermit card, or not the hermit card, the Hierophant card in a tarot deck. And this is a Gaia-inspired tarot, so it's more nature themed. So anyway, you will be seeing a lot more designs based on these. Okay, I'm back again. There's no big deal. I was just, a boat was pulling in. Like I said, I'm near the boat launch. And that dog that nipped me and a dog on the boat were like, going a little nutty. And I was waiting for that dog to jump out of the boat and for a snarly fight to ensue. But the owner of the nippy dog came and put it on the leash and took it away, so we're good. But I do apologize if the nippy dog starts, or not the nippy dog, the other dog starts barking, because it seems to be a yapper. So anyway, that's kind of like the history of my knitting patterns, and I will be publishing very soon 2 new ones, a cowl called the Teacher Cowl, and this Guardian of Air shawl pattern. And I just love this Lost City Knits yarn. This is just such a beautiful yarn, and I wouldn't be surprised if I designed something else. My Against the Current shawl too was that I just did was based on a card. I should show you that too. Maybe next time I'll show you, but I think I did on a podcast. But anyway, now let's get to another exciting part, and I have some stash enhancements. Let me start out with my beautiful Punis, and I know that I am going to be spinning more Punis. So this is the other half that I bought. I bought 2 packages this size. Roleg style Punis, 2.15 ounces. Okay, these are a mix of superwash merino, Shetland, and Falkland. And they are just a dream to spin. And again, it is naturally knitty. And her and her sister also do a podcast, which I didn't know about, which I love. So I highly recommend. She's naturally knitty on Ravelry. I really recommend you check out her Etsy shop. She's got a lot of great colors on there of these Punis, different fiber mixes. Don't suffer from Puni envy. Just go get the Punis. All right. What's that talking about? So, I love dogs. I really do. I grew up with dogs. I don't have dogs now because my husband's allergic to all animals and we just can't. So the dog that nipped me and growled at me and then started flipping out when he saw a dog on someone's boat. The owner came, put him on a leash, walked off with him. I'm like, oh good, he's smart now. He put him on a leash. And there are lots of amazing dogs out there, and I don't care too much if I see them running around loose because there are a lot of dogs, and I just assume the owner knows that the dog is 1, friendly, and 2, obedient. But that dog is not friendly, and that dog does not listen, and he took it off the leash again, and all that yapping you just heard was he was charging the people's car, and the guy had to pick up his dog. I mean, it's just like, your dog should not be running loose, and I'm sorry. I mean, just shouldn't. It's not listening, and it's not friendly. Jeez Louise. So that guy, I don't know what's the matter with him. Anyway, back to stash enhancement. End of ranting. I got my hair cut last week. I don't know. It doesn't really look much shorter, does it? But I got my hair cut, and I get my hair cut in Cornwall, New York. It's on the west side of the river. I live on the east side of the Hudson River. Cornwall is on the west side of the Hudson River. It's about a 20-25 minute drive. It's about the only decent. Well, we have a few local yarn shops left, but one just closed. It's Scarsdale. Or it is closing, but anyway, when I do go and get my hair cut, I usually stop at Cornwall Yarn Store, and sometimes I just look around, and sometimes I get things. I had just finished knitting this, and I was looking for other yarns that might be a beautiful choice for this pattern, and I found the new yarn by the fiber company called Meadow, and oh my, is this not a lovely yarn? It's, I think it's listed as a lace weight, but I would call it a light fingering. It has 545 yards, which is enough for this pattern. Yes. It was, I don't remember the price exactly. I don't have, oh I do. Hold on, I'll tell you how much it cost me. Because, that matters if you got to use 2 skein. It was $58 for both skeins. $58. So that's $28 each with the tax. It's not bad. It is, like I said, Meadow. It's listed as a lace. I would say it's a light fingering. Could be a light fingering. It's 40% merino, 25 baby llama, 20% silk, and 15% linen. I'm imagining beautiful drape. 100 grams is 545 yards. Now, the put up on these were 110 grams with 500 yards. And so you kind of, maybe this is a little heavier than this, but this would be a wonderful choice for this pattern. The meadow yarn from Fiber Company. I bought this lavender color and cream. I might actually use it to design a new pattern. I don't know yet. But I have two Guardian of Air shawls. I really don't need another. So maybe I was thinking I might design a rectangular wrap shawl with like a lace border and then use that for that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to my new focus is not going to be designing for the rest of the year. After these two patterns are published, I'll probably, I might publish some smaller patterns, but this and the Guardian and the Against the Current shawl really were a lot of work. It took a lot of time, and I really appreciate now what goes into designing a pattern and writing it up nicely. Not just the expenses, like for a good tech editor and finding test knitters and whatnot, but just the amount of time it takes. It's yeah, even what might seem simple, you have to weigh it's just not simple. So like I said, starting when these are published, it's going to be, the new focus is going to be the Rhinebeck sweaters, and then maybe some smaller patterns here and there. But I want to get my husband's sweater done for Rhinebeck. He comes on Sunday. We bring his mom, so he needs a Rhinebeck sweater too. And I want to finish that other one that I started and not finished, that was originally for him. And then I also want to make the Rhinebeck sweater, you saw the Teague's Rhinebeck sweater, from her Rhinebeck sweater book. And I bought the yarn for that already. So that's 3 sweaters I want to make by Rhinebeck. So, yeah. But I don't plan on putting spinning on hold. So let me show you my newly acquired spinning stash. All right. So, if you haven't watched the Stitch by Stitch podcast, you really should. It's an amazing podcast. I love it. The host is Kim. She's from Florida. And I always wondered, what on earth would someone from Florida knit? It's so freaking hot down there. I don't know. But Kim, from Stitch by Stitch podcast, is an amazing spinner. Her homespun is just beautiful, and I hope I can spin as beautifully as she can. She has a podcasting group on Ravelry. I think it's called Stitch by Stitch Video Podcast is the group name, and she's doing a spin along for June. It's June 22nd now, but until the end of the month, if by hand is the fiber that the spin along is hosted by, and you can get you can use a coupon code and get 10 or 15% off. So I took advantage of the coupon code and I bought 2 braids. This is the colorway Here Comes Your Man. It is 100% Falkland. Do it by hand. There are 2 dyers apparently, and the one that dyed this is Ceylon. I don't know her name. I can't pronounce it very well. So let me give you a better idea of, this is, like I said, 100% Falkland. I'm trying to try different fibers, just so you know. Isn't that gorgeous? Aqua, cobalt blue, some like hunter green, that's like a foresty green, some tanny pink, some brown, some grays. I can't wait to see what this looks like. I'm going to start spinning these next. And I have some finished hand spun, but I didn't bring it because it's actually hanging on my clothesline, still drying. So I'll show you that next time. But this is going on my Lendrum wheel next. And then I also got from, from To If by Hand, this beautiful colorway. This colorway is called Exhausted, which is kind of how I feel right now. It's Polwash silk, and it's just spun by the other, dyed by the other woman, Métis. Okay. And this is really, really nice. It's got like a bright yellow with the blue. I think is a beautiful combination, and then she has some more subtle grays and creams and oranges and yellows. I think blues and oranges and yellows go really good together, and this is another one that I'm gonna try and spin up by the end of this month so I can partake in her spin along, stitch by stitch. Check it out. So that didn't deter me from buying more stash. I found all these new fibers that I wanted to try now that I have my new Lendrum wheel. So I also have been wanting to try I guess like an indie dyer that also has a podcast that I've been watching for quite some time, and I have always loved her colors and enjoyed her podcast, and knew that I would try out either her yarn. She has yarn and fiber dyed up by her. So I decided to go there and check out what she had because I wanted to try other fibers. And I picked up 3 different fibers from her, very different types of fiber. Where's that darn dog again? I don't know what the heck is the matter with that guy. Alright. Anyway, this is Pitch Pine Top Corriedale Cross. It's 4 ounces. And I love blues. I love sky blues. And I love how this looks like the sunset sky. It's like a peachy pink. Sorry, Knittables would not like that, but so it's a good thing she doesn't watch podcasts because she hates peach. But it reminds me of a very beautiful sunset. It's called Chunky Dunk. It's a funny name. This is like very... So I'm not familiar with fibers yet, but this seems like a very long fiber. Oh no. Yeah, it's pretty long. And it's got a lot of crimp in it. I was, reading fiber books and about how the crimp determines how many spins, how many twists you should put in it, and that sort of thing. And I wanted to, try practicing that. So, because my Lendrum wheel has so many ratios available to it, and I just wanted to see what difference it made when I tried different ratios. It makes your wheel spin more, so it gives you more twist in your fiber per pedal. So that's what I plan to do with all these different fibers, and I'd love to smell fiber. Sorry. Anyway, this is very sticky. It's not slippery at all. It's definitely woolen, and I don't know. We'll see how I do with it. I don't think it's going to be my favorite to spin, but we'll see. I don't know. So that was that. Corriedale. I'm going to save my favorite for last. Now this I bought because of the color. Sorry. It's Polworth. It's 4 ounces of Polworth. I love the greens and blues she put in this, and I love that she mixed some white in it so that you could kind of have some fades in there, but I'm looking for, this is actually quite soft. It's called Islesboro Blues. Highland Handmaid's Islesboro Blues, 4 ounces of Polworth. This feels really soft. It's not as sticky as the other one I just showed you, the Corriedale, which is like an outer garment yarn Corriedale, or wool. So this is not as long as the Corriedale. I would say 3 or 4 inches. And it does have a bit of crimp, but not as crimpy, I would say. Look how beautiful this is going to be. Oh. Beautiful. Anyway, the Polworth. I'll probably start with these, with the, what do you call this spin thing? When you do the spinning in July? Oh, come on, Amy. I don't remember, because this is my first year as a spinner. I'm so nervous with that dog loose again. That dog is loose again. Yeah, and now there's a kid riding around on his bike. He's smart, he got off his bike. All right, my favorite. Winter wheat. This is merino silk. Interesting mix. So it's 40% superwash and 40% straight merino, and then 20% silk. Oh, this is my favorite of the three fibers. I love the color. I love the subtle blues. I love the brownish yellow, greenish. It's like almost like butter, but it's like wheat. Okay, it's like wheat. I can't wait to spin this up and see how it comes. I'm going to try doing a 3-ply now that I have a Lendrum wheel with a three bobbin lazy Kate. So I might try that with this, because this would be a beautiful hat or pair of mitts. I want to sleep with this. And I'll definitely be spinning a lot of Punis in this. And I love this color. I love this beautiful color. That's all my stash enhancements. I've talked about a lot. But I also have one more thing that I brought with me that I wanted to show you. So I am friends on Instagram with Lost City Denise, who is the owner of Lost City Knits. And she recently went on a trip to Shetland, and she posted this picture on Instagram of a knitting belt. And I suddenly got this desire to try using a knitting belt. So basically, the reason why was I, as a kid, when my grandmother taught me to knit, it was gorgeous, love it. I used to, of course, we were using straight needles. And I used to stick one of the needles like right straight up between my thighs, and then I would use these two, like it would be like standing up like a pole. And then I would use my hands, and I would just kind of go like this, and I would wrap and take it off. And I kind of figured when I saw that knitting belt, and I thought of Yarn Harlot and the way she knits. I thought that this might be actually quite intuitive for me because of the way I knit when I was a little girl, and I just wanted to try it. So I did. I ordered it from Bob and Weave on Etsy. Bob and Weave, and it's a knitting belt. I got the one that came with an extra belt that you can attach, so you could wrap it around your waist, or you could just wrap it around your thigh. And I tried both. Let me find the belt. So here is the belt. Come on, belt. Sorry, it's on the bottom of the bag. There's the belt. You can see the holes I've been using. I've been trying different angles and whatnot to see, how they all feel. And I also bought 2 different needles from her. Now the belt appears to me to be very well made, although the belt itself part is very thin. This part seems really sturdy, which is the important part, because you can always replace this. But you can see the attachment here for if you want to wear it around your waist. And I've been practicing with some leftover virtual yarns from Alice Starmore's Virtual Yarn. And I bought these long 14-inch needles from the same vendor, Bob and Weave, right? And they are like aluminum. They're very light and they're not pointy. So I think the problem for me is, first of all, a set of her needles only comes with 4, and I'm used to knitting with 5 needles when I knit with DPNs. And secondly, it hasn't felt natural. I really thought, because of the way I knit when I was a kid, that this would just really automatically feel comfortable, and it hasn't. And I tried it on my waist, I tried it on my thigh, and I don't like these non-pointy needles, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep using them. And I think if I had pointier needles, I think it would be a lot better, but I don't. And I don't know where I could get pointier needles that are this long. So these are the 14-inch needles. I also got these 10-inch needles out of bamboo to try those. These look a little pointier, but again, there's only 4. And I like to knit with a 5th needle and have 4 needles on the stitches. So this is, like I said, what I've done so far. I did a lot of rounds of like a rib, and I just started the colorwork part. Not really enjoying it, but I guess I'll try it a little more, experiment with how I hold it, but honestly I think it's mostly the needles that I'm not really digging, not so much the technique. But I'll try and knit a little more on this and see how it goes. That's all. Anyway, I think that's it, guys. I mean, I know I've been talking a long time. I had a lot to show you. And hopefully next time, in a couple of weeks, I can show you some of Mark's sweater. And we'll see how that goes. And maybe I'll knit more with this belt, who knows. But in the meantime, let me just leave you with a little bit. It's like, geez, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock here on the 22nd. And here's the Hudson River. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.